Good morning. Our topic for today is about performing estimation under the subject aquaculture. But first, what are the learning objectives after the discussion? Number one, identify job requirements from oral and written communication. Number two, estimate quantities of materials and resources required to complete a work or task. Number three, estimate time needed to complete a work or activity. And last, estimate of work materials and resources are made. We also meet different terminologies or different words under this subject or topic. Average, also called the mean, the sum of all numbers in a distribution divided by the number of samples. Division, it expresses a relation in size between quantities. Proportion, the quantity of two ratios. And lastly, we have the ratio, the answer obtained when two quantities are compared. But first, let's test your knowledge about this topic, which we will have our pretest. So the direction, solve the following. Number one, let me read the question. How much ammonium sulfate or 2100 is consumed for 5.25 hectares of fish pond if the rate of application is 50 kilogram per hectare? Second question, Jose has 2.75 hectares of fish pond. He applies chicken manure in his pond 2 times a month at a rate of 15 kilogram per hectare. How much chicken manure will he consume for a year? Third question. Luis stocked 25,000 milkfish fingerlings in his 1.75 hectare fish pond. Did he stock the correct number of fish if the recommended stocking rate is 10,000 fish per hectare? What should be the exact number of fish he ought to stock? The fourth question. There are 200 angelfish in a 50 square inches glass aquarium. Is the aquarium overcrowded if the required stocking density is 10 fish per square inches? The fifth question, Andres' goal is to produce 6 pieces of milkfish per kilo after his culture period. What is the average body weight of each fish at harvest? Number six question. On the next page are the data gathered by Benny and Jenny after 30 days of sampling culture period with the same management practices but different brand of feeds rather being used, who has better brand of feeds based on the average body weight of each fish. On our table, we have the number and the weight of fish. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we have the weight of fish of Benny and the weight of fish of Jenny. So we have Benny 125.60, 140.70, 98.30, 88.50, 120.30, 76.70, 66.70, 75.25, 102, 133.30, while Jenny 130.80, 139.30, 77.60, 89.90, 120.10, 139.80, 98.20, 100.25, and 98.75. Find the total and the average body weight. Next question, question number 7 to 10. Solve for the DFA of the following data. On our table, we have the average body weight, which is 26.75 grams, 120.95 grams, 100 grams, 75.80 grams. Number of stock, 20,000 fish, 15,000 fish, 100,000 fish, 50,000 fish. Survival rate 80%, 75%, 80%, 90%. Feeding rate 5%, 3%, 4%, and 5%. Find or solve the DFA of the following data. Now let's proceed for our topic or the subtopic of performing estimation. We have the ratio and proportion. But of course, let me introduce or let me have the introduction about this topic. So, aquaculture is a complex operation of growing fish and other aquatic animals. So, it requires definite action in order to effectively produce fish. Activities need precise quantities that include applying the right dosage of fertilizer into the pond, determining the number of fish to be stocked in a particular area, feeding fish with recommended amount of feeds, and monitoring the growth gained by the fish. Therefore, the ability to estimate and the ability to be accurate in an essential skills needed in aquaculture. So these lessons will provide us basic computation and estimation needed in aquaculture. So it covers the use of ratio and proportion in determining the amount of fertilizers to be applied into the pond and knowing the number of fish to be stocked. It also includes the use of mean or average in determining the average body weight or what we call the ABW of the fish and solving of the daily feed allowance or what we call DFA. So let's start with fertilizer application. We have here example. So how many kilograms of chicken manure is needed in 1.25 hectares of fish pond if the required application rate is 500 kilogram per hectare? To substitute that, 1 hectare divided by 500 kilogram is equal to 1.25 hectare divided by the n. So in this above equation, 1 hectare and n are called what we extremes, while 1.25 hectare and 500 kilogram are means. So solve for the missing term, which is n, using cross product method. We are going to apply cross multiplication in this problem. So for the solution, 1 hectare times n, because cross multiplication, so 1 times n is equal to 1.25 hectares times 500 kilogram. So that is 625 kilogram. Then transfer 1, cross again, transfer 1 to other side. So n is equal to 625 kilogram divided by 1. So our answer is n is equal to 625 kilogram for this problem. So to check that, 1 hectare, again 1 hectare divided by 500 kilogram is equal to 1.25 hectare divided by 625 kilogram. So the extreme is equal to 1 hectare times 625 kilogram. We use cross multiplication, which is the answer is 625 kilogram hectare. And 500 kilogram cross multiplication to 1.25 hectare is equal to 625 kilogram hectare. So for any proportion to be true, the product of the means must be equal to the product of extreme. So uh, our answer is correct because extreme and means are the same. Next, we're going to talk about fish stocking. So we have here an example. So how many fish can you stock in a tank with an area of 500 meters squared if the required stocking rate is 50 fish per meter squared? So for the substitute, we have 1 meter squared divided by 50 fish, 500 meters squared divided by n. So again, we're going to apply cross multiplication. So our solution now is 1 meter squared times n is equal to 50 fish times 500 meters squared. So we will cancel the 2 meters squared of both sides. And then so that will become 1 times n is equal to 50 times 500. That will become 25,000 fish. So transfer 1 to another to other side. So n is equal to 25,000 fish divided by 1. So our answer now is 25,000 fish. To check that, again, we have 1 meter square divided by 50 fish is equal to 500 meters square divided by 25,000 fish. So our extreme now is 1 meter squared cross multiplication to other side, which is 25,000 fish. That is 25,000 fish per hectare. And our means is 500 meters squared times 50 fish. Again, cross multiplication to other side is equal to 25,000 fish per hectare. So it is the same. The extreme and means are the same. So our answer is correct. Let's talk about mean and average. So to compute the average body weight, or what we call the ABW of the fish, we need to use this formula. So our formula now is ABW is equal to total weight of fish samples divided by the number of samples. So let's have an example. We have here number one, the table shows the result of fish sampling activity data below conducted by grade 8 aquaculture students. So compute for the ABW. So we have sample 1 to 10 and different weight of the different samples. So let me read it. Sample number 1, weight is 5.5. Sample number 2, weight 8. Sample number 3, 5. Sample number 4, 12.1. Sample number 5, 5.8. Sample number 6, 5.2. Sample number 7, 7.6. Sample number 8, 6.9. Sample number 9, 9.2. And last sample number 10 is 5.4. To solve that, okay, we have our formula, which is average body weight, or ABW, is equal to total weight of fish samples number of fish. So ABW is equal to 5.5 plus 8 plus 5 plus 12.1 plus 5.8 plus 5.2 plus 7.6 plus 6.9 plus 9.2 plus 5.4 divided by 10, because we have 10 samples. So all we have to do is add the different weight of the different samples and then divide it to the number of samples that we have. So our answer now is 7.07 grams. Now, let's proceed with the computation of the daily feed allowance. So the daily feed allowance, we have, or we need to follow the formula. So daily feed allowance, or DFA, is equal to W times N times S times R, where W means average body weight of the stock after a given period of time. N is the original number of stocks. S, estimated number of survival rate. And R is feeding rate. So let's have an example. So given the number of stocks in 1 hectare fish pond is 35,000. ABW after 30 days is 8 grams. Estimated survival rate is 95%, or 0.95. And feeding rate is 8%, or 0.08. Take note that there are two ways on how to convert percent to decimal numbers. We have number one, divide the given value percentage to 100. Example, 95% is equal to 95 divided by 100. That will become 0.95. Or in other way, Move the decimal point 2 places to the left. Example, we have 95%, which is equal to 95.0. So we will move the decimal point to the left. That will become 0.95. So let's follow the formula. So our formula is DFA W times N times S times R. So our W is 8 grams. Our N is 35,000. Our S is 0.95 because 95% will become decimal point as 0.95, and the R is the feeding rate, which is 8%, so it will become 0.08. So our answer is 8 times 35 times 0.95 times 0.08. Our answer now is 280 grams or 21.28 kilogram. So how grams become kilogram? So note that to convert grams into kilogram, simply divide the given value by 1,000. So example, we have 21,280 grams. Divide 1,000, that is equal to 21.28 kilogram. Now let's proceed to our post test. For the post test, let me read the question. Direction: solve the following. How much ammonium sulfate 2100 is consumed for 5.25 hectares of fish pond if the rate of application is 50 kilogram per hectare? Jose has 2.75 hectare of fish pond. He applies chicken manure in his pond 2 times a month at a rate of 15 kilogram per hectare. How much chicken manure will he consume for a year? Louis stocked 25,000 milkfish fingerlings in his 1.75 hectare fish pond. Did he stock the correct number of fish? If the recommended stocking rate is 10,000 fish per hectare, what should be the exact number of fish he ought to stock? There are 200 angelfish in a 50 square inches glass aquarium. Is the aquarium overcrowded if the required stocking density is 10 fish per square inches? Andres' goal is to produce 6 pieces of milk fish per kilo after his culture period. What is the average body weight of each fish at harvest? Number 6 on the next page are the data gathered by Benny and Jenny after 30 days of sampling culture period. With the same management practices but different brand of feeds being used, who has better brand of fish? Feeds based on the average body weight of each fish. So we have the number 1 to 10 and the weight of fish by Benny and by Jenny. So we need to look for the total and the average body weight. Number 7 to 10, solve for the daily feed allowance or DFA of the following data. So we have table here, ABW, number stock, survival rate, feeding rate, and find the DFA. For the answer key of pre-test and post-test, number 1, the answer is 262.5 kilogram. Number 2, the answer is 990 kilogram per year. Number 3, answer no. 17,500 fish is required number of fish to be stocked. Number 4, the answer is no. Number 5, our answer is 166.67 grams per fish. Number 6, the answer is Jenny has a better brand of fish. Number 7, our answer is 21.4 kilogram or 21,400 grams. Number 8, 40,820 grams or 40.82 kilogram. Number 9, 320,000 grams or 320 kilogram. And last, number 10, 170,550 grams or 170.55 kilogram. Our references for this topic: disclaimer, I Agree by Sir Dan is an educational vlog. The purpose of this vlog is to provide free education to discuss lessons and clarify issues related to agriculture. The channel owner wishes to thank the trustworthy sources that have helped make this edu vlog possible. Any opinions or views shared in this vlog are also personal and belong to I Agree by Sir Dan. The views of any person that is directly or indirectly connected to the owner do not inherently represent them. In addition, any dependency you put on the materials included herein is solely at your own risk. Finally, if you need more details or have questions, feel free to contact the owner. And thank you to the following: Tristan Laruan, Maurice Gravides, of course, De La Salle Araneta University, and Phoenix Publishing House. Thank you.